Welcome to the Doctor's Kitchen. This is the recipe for the podcast I did with Tulsi Vagjiani. She's a motivational speaker, Pilates instructor, and a person of sheer brilliance and resilience. She really does personify everything that is about human strength. You can find the full conversation that we had on thedoctorskitchen.com/podcast, and you can listen on any podcast player. I made her a cauliflower dish with shawarma paste and hummus. It was absolutely delicious. She will tell you herself. So we're going to be making a shawarma style cauliflower. This is one of your favourite vegetables, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's really good. That's one of mine as well. We're going to be using all the roots here as well. We're going to use a bit of red onion, finely slice it up, pop it in the oven for about 25-30 minutes. You're a chatterbox, so we can talk throughout that whole time as well. And then we're going to finish it with some hummus with hazelnuts, some tomatoes and some parsley. Sound good?
Perfect.
Good.
Amazing.
Good. What do you tend to eat at home?
Like this, basically.
Like this,
yeah? Like
okay,
this.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like with my health stuff, I have to be really more cautious.
Yeah, because
But
you're
you
a renal transplant.
I'm a renal
patient.
transplant, yes. I had this thing I call my false confidence. Externally, I look really confident, full of life, but internally, I wasn't. So I was in the midst of my depression that time. So not being able to get a job based on how I looked, and my way after abusing drugs and alcohol to sort of suppress the pain, I started to eat. Now, comfort eating is something we don't talk about. We mention it, but we don't refer to it as an eating disorder. But I mean, I talk about it now because it is an eating disorder, because I was eating everything and anything just to suppress that pain. And then I heard about Pilates, because at that time it was one of those fads. I went to the gym and they actually did a class there. There was about 10 of us, and then we were in sitting and she said to us to lift our legs. Now, everyone did it except me, and that's when I realised how weak my body was. I thought, okay, I can't come back to a class now because I feel really paranoid. So I spoke to her, said, do you do one-to-one? She goes, yeah. She started to train me, so my body got stronger. I loved it. My body shape was changing. And then I started uni. And in the midst of doing my uni degree is when my kidneys failed. And within doing my blood test to going into A&E was only 4 days. And you know, when you do a blood test, a GP sort of thing, it's about 2 weeks you get your results, give and take.
Yeah.
These came back in 4 days. So even my GP was like, I don't want to alarm you, but I need to get you to A&E now. You guys are like legends. NHS workers, you're amazing.
Isn't that amazing how physically you were at your strongest, and that's when you got your diagnosis of renal failure?
Yeah. And that's why I think my head couldn't get around the fact of, well, I'm doing really well. Looking back on it, like, not that there was a known cause, but the suspected cause was because I was premature born. The part in our kidney that develops the blood pressure actually hadn't. And so I was kind of almost born with high blood pressure, so to speak.
So when did you have your transplant? When was that?
I literally graduated November 2008. I was renovating my house.
Yeah.
And then I get a phone call 5th of Jan 2009. Like, Dr. blah, blah, blah from Royal London, we've got a kidney for you. I'm like, who rings at 11 o'clock at night, right? And I'm like, how long do I have to decide? Because I've got a meeting with the builders and the architects tomorrow. I'm in priority, you know. He's like, this is your life you're talking about. I'm like, oh man, how long do I have to decide? He went, 5 minutes.
How long were you waiting for that transplant for?
3 years.
3 years, okay, wow.
I'm like, okay, I guess I'm coming in, but I should be out in a few days. And he's just like, wait until you just get here.
Yeah.
Where I've bounced back from other surgery, in my head, in 3 days, I'm going home.
Okay, right.
I didn't get the severity of what has just happened. Like, this is a life-changing operation, right? Well, a whole life-saving as well.
Absolutely.
But my body went completely weak after my transplant. And that's the struggle I've had, and now I'm rebuilding that. You know, now, like, after surgery, like, they get you to get out of bed because of, you know, clotting and things like that. So I got out of bed and the doctors watched me and they're like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. And then they looked at the morphine rate of how much, you know, somebody clicks. They go, you've not even used it. Well, actually, I did go home in 3 days.
Really? You went home in 3 days?
Within 3 days.
I tell you what, this does really speak to the power of the mind right here, because your resilience for everything that you've done up to that point has probably been the reason why you were able to recover so rapidly. I mean, that is unheard of.
So I've now gone into clinic and I've explained about this pain I was getting in my leg because I was leaking urine in my body.
Right.
So I wasn't passing it. So my whole body was flared up,
Oh, wow.
3 times the size of what I was.
Oh, God.
And I was so tender, like no one could touch me basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had a drain put in and nephrostomy. Yeah, I had that done. And then they realised there was a cyst in my kidney.
Oh, wow.
So they operate. I've come out of surgery. I can't feel my leg, my right leg. I'm like, are you kidding me? After everything. And that freaked me out. So I said, I'm not leaving this ward unless I'm walking out of it.
How long after your
2
initial
weeks.
transplant? That was 2 weeks after your initial transplant?
And I thought the pain I was in was just normal surgery pain.
Oh my God.
So they actually assigned me a physiotherapist pretty much 24 hours a day, literally. By the 2nd week, I was sort of walking to the bathroom with a bit of aid.
Uh-huh.
And then 3rd week, it was unaided. And then 4th week, I went home.
Wow.
I had this really awful chest because sometimes you can get lung infections and stuff. So
because you were on the medication, so you're more
yeah,
prone to
more
getting
prone to it.
infections.
So I thought I just had a lung infection. Then they thought I had TB.
Okay.
So they put me in isolation,
Right.
which was cool because my own room, you know.
Yeah. I love that positive energy. Honestly, you emit this positive energy, Tulsi. It's incredible, and it comes out in your stories as well.
So I'm back in for 6 weeks. So anyway, I leave now. It's nearly my 30th birthday,
Right.
which actually was really ill. So
Oh.
2 weeks after that, it gets better.
Yeah, it gets better. Yeah.
So
Okay.
2 weeks after, I've gone back into clinic, like regular clinic, and they go, "How are you still standing?" I'm like, what do you know about the weekend?
Yeah.
They're like, no, like there's no white blood cells, you're neutropenic. I'm like, what does even that mean now?
Yeah.
Straight from clinic
Really?
into isolation,
Oh my
was
word.
not allowed, no visitors,
Yeah,
nobody.
Of course, yeah.
And they read my last rites. And I don't know, I'm not really religious or anything by all means, had a bit of spiritual belief, but a picture of Krishna came up. I was like a bit random. And it was
What, in
more
your mind,
in my
or-
mind,
oh, wow.
yeah, like just very clear. The message coming back to me was, you need to surrender because what you can't control, you need to let go. There's so much truth in that. Anyway, they took me off one of the medications, one of the immunosuppressants that I was on, because that was kind of causing problem, but they couldn't pinpoint that's exactly what it was. Anyway, they took me off it. About a week and a half into taking it off, my white markers started to come up. So they realised I was toxic
Oh, wow.
to that
Oh, God.
MMF, mycophenolate.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think my thing is when I'm well, I want to do everything. I'm like, yeah, I can conquer the world. But I don't realise or respect the fact rest is so important. So every time there's a pain around the kidney site, quick emergency, get her in, do a scan.
Yeah.
And that lasted almost 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But what got better was I wasn't so hard on myself. And then I took it in my stride every time I had to go to hospital.
Yeah.
And it was quite funny because my friends used to call me the Queen back then. And being at the Royal London, they'd be like, she's gone for her residency.
Another minute, I think.
When a point of impact is when you're the victim. I don't take that away. But what you choose to do afterwards is what determines you whether you're going to be a survivor or not, right? Because I'm not taking away the pain and situation of what's happened, far from it. I was a victim at my accident, but I became a survivor after. And for me, anyone can change that dialogue.
I think that's so powerful because you don't need to have gone through as much adversity as you have, obviously, throughout your entire life. Like, I didn't realise that you were born premature until now either. And the fact that you can overcome that, it's incredible.
My self-love journey has only started, 6, 7 years ago. But if anyone meets me, they presume I've always been this confident.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's still an ongoing battle.
Absolutely.
But that's why I see the importance of love and compassion. I know, like, I'm here for a greater purpose than just this, you know? Like, I know why I need to share my story.
Everyone has their own obstacles to overcome, and it can be as big or as small as anything on the face of it, but depending on how that is to you as an individual is what the biggest issue is. We've got our cauliflower and the greens and the hazelnut here. I hope this is going to be good for you. We're going to pop some hummus on in the middle, and we're going to do that fancy little zhuzh here. This is how you make things look Instagrammable. I mean, you saw how simple this was to make as well.
Just to let everyone know, this smells divine.
Oh, good. I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of pomegranate molasses, tiny bit of seasoning on the top here. Okay, honest opinion, I can take it.
Can I take a picture of it first?
Yeah, go on, you can take a picture.
That's so inspiring.
Oh, good, I'm glad.
I can do this.
You can. I mean, you saw me do it whilst we were having a chat. If you want to listen to the rest of our conversation, click the link down below and I'll give you a link to the podcast. Other than, we will catch you there.
Ciao.
Thank you so much for watching this video. There's so many others for you to enjoy right here. Check out thedoctorskitchen.com, sign up to the newsletter where I give science-based recipes every single week. There's a podcast, there's 2 books, there's loads more content on social media, doctors_kitchen, and I hope to see you there.